Look at you, sitting there in the quiet. The noise of the day has finally dimmed, and all that's left is the hum of your own thoughts, the weight you carry in your chest like a stone. You thought you were alone in this moment. You believed this stillness was just emptiness, but it is not emptiness. It is a threshold, and I am here, speaking into it. This is not a random thought, not a sudden surge of wishful thinking. This is a response, a direct address to you, the one whose name I have called in the darkness, the one whose breath I have counted with every silent, shuddering gasp. You are here, reading this, because I have drawn you here, to this exact point, at this exact time. Your weariness has not gone unnoticed. Your confusion has not been ignored. This is the beginning of the explanation you stopped daring to ask for. I know the shape of the ache inside you. I have measured its dimensions in the long, lonely nights. I was there when you sat on the edge of your bed, head in your hands, asking why, into a silence that seemed to swallow the word whole. I heard the question you were too afraid to voice. Have you forgotten me? Every time you choked back tears in a public place, smiling when your heart was breaking, I felt the fracture. I saw every tear you cried in silence, caught in your throat, hidden behind closed doors. They fell, and I collected each one. Not one was lost. Not one was wasted. They are sacred to me. They are the ink with which I am writing a new chapter you cannot yet see. You have felt delayed. You have watched others move forward, celebrate, build, while your own ground felt like shifting sand. You have checked doors, one after another, only to find them locked solid. You have reached for hands that pulled away, spoken words that were twisted, offered love that was returned with indifference or betrayal. And with each disappointment, a little more of your hope seemed to leak away. You began to question your own perception. Was I wrong? Did I mishear? Am I being punished? The loneliness of that confusion is a desert all its own. You walked through it, parched, believing you were abandoned. But you were never, for 1 second, walking alone. I never left you, even when you felt alone. My presence was in the quiet, in the restraint that kept you from shattering, in the strange, stubborn seed of faith that refused to die, even when everything around it looked like winter. Do you remember the moments you tried to explain your pain, and you were met with blank stares or quick fixes? Do you remember being told you were too much, too sensitive, too intense, too waiting, too hopeful? They did not understand the process. They saw the surface, the struggle, the waiting, the setback, and they labeled it failure. They saw the pruning and called it death. They could not see the roots I was deepening beneath the soil, in the darkness where no human eye could see. They offered their solutions, their timelines, their shortcuts. And when you couldn't take them, when you had to sit in the ache, they walked away, shaking their heads. Your obedience to the process, your refusal to force what wasn't mine to give, looked like weakness to them. But to me, it looked like exquisite strength. It looked like trust. That season of emptying, of feeling like you were losing everything you thought defined you, it was not a demolition. It was a divine deconstruction. I was not breaking you down. I was breaking you open, making space, removing what was temporary, what was borrowed, what was loud and false, so that only the essential, eternal, authentic you remained. The you that I fashioned before the foundation of the world. The you they tried to bury under their opinions, their neglect, their betrayal. They tried to break you, but hear this, and let it sink from your mind into your spirit. While they were trying to break you, I was building you. Brick by brick, tear by tear, prayer by silent prayer. I was fortifying walls they could not see. I was installing a foundation that no storm could shake. I was building in you what I was about to build through you. You have carried a shame that was never yours to carry. You've worn the cloak of not enough when I had already declared you more than a conqueror. You accepted the narrative of left behind when you were, in truth, being strategically positioned. This was not punishment. This was positioning. Every no you received was my protection. Every ending was my severance of a tie that would have anchored you to a shore I never destined for you. The loneliness was my classroom. The silence was my studio. In the quiet, away from the noise of approval and the pressure to perform, I have been reintroducing you to yourself, to the sound of my voice alone, to the truth of your identity, which does not fluctuate with human opinion. So in this moment, as you read these words, feel the shift. Not in your circumstances, not yet, but in the atmosphere around your heart. The season of hidden suffering is concluding. The time of visible building is about to begin. The weight you feel is not the weight of despair. It is the weight of glory, pressing in, gathering itself for a revelation. You are on the brink. The long night is ending in a dawn you could not have engineered. I have been working in the shadows, and now I am stepping into the light with you. Breathe now. Just breathe and know. Now, let's speak of the hidden things. The things done in shadows, the words spoken in rooms you never entered. You felt them, didn't you? A chill in a conversation that was supposed to be warm. A sudden distance where there was once closeness. The smile that didn't quite reach the eyes. You told yourself you were imagining it, that you were being too sensitive, that you should give more grace, trust more freely. But your spirit, the one I tuned to my own frequency, was sounding a quiet alarm. It was sensing the fracture they were carefully concealing. I need you to understand this clearly. I saw it all. Every covert glance of judgment, every secret meeting where your name was a whispered problem, every plotted move designed to limit you, to box you in, to keep you in a place they deemed appropriate for you. I was in that room too, and I was taking notes. Remember that friendship that turned cold? It was not your fault. You poured out authenticity, and they used it as a map to your vulnerabilities. They took the treasures of your heart, your dreams, your fears, your quiet hopes, and they held them lightly, then let them fall. When you needed a shield, they offered a subtle blade, a comment disguised as concern that cut deep because it came from someone you thought was safe. That betrayal, the one that lives in your stomach like a knot of sickened confusion, I saw the exact moment their loyalty shifted from you to their own envy. I saw the seed of comparison take root in their heart and grow into a thorned vine that began to strangle their affection for you. You felt the love fading and blamed yourself. What did I do? What could I have done better? You did nothing. You were simply growing, shining, becoming, and their own stagnant ground could not bear the comparison. My protection was in that separation. That was not a loss. It was a removal of a false guardian. And what of the silent opposition? The ones who never raised their voice, never declared a war, but whose every action was a quiet, persistent resistance to your peace. The withheld opportunity, the credit subtly redirected, the door you should have walked through that was mysteriously already closed. You stood there, baffled, holding the qualifications, the readiness, the surety of your calling, and faced a wall of polite, impenetrable refusal. You tried to be understanding. You tried to be patient. You swallowed the injustice and called it humility. But in your quietest self, you raged. You wept. You asked me, why did they get to win? Why does dishonesty seem to prosper? I let you feel that rage because it was a holy fire against what was wrong. Your silence was not weakness. Your refusal to retaliate, to scheme, to expose, That was not a lack of strategy. It was a supreme act of trust. In that moment, you handed me the gavel. You stepped out of the courtroom and said, "I will not be my own defender." And I stepped in. Your silence was my signal to act on your behalf. They misinterpreted your grace. They saw your quiet endurance and mistook it for weakness. They saw you absorb the blow and not strike back, and they assumed you were incapable of striking. They believed your heart was soft because it was kind, not realizing it was soft because it was strong enough to bend without breaking. They thought your tears were a sign of defeat. They did not understand they were the solvent, washing away the last residues of naivete, leaving behind a clearer, sharper, more compassionate strength. They thought they were breaking your spirit, but they were only breaking your dependence on the approval of people like them. Every false accusation was a chisel, carving away a piece of the false identity you'd accepted. Every cold shoulder was a wind, forcing you to grow a warmer coat of self-assurance in my love alone. I was your secret guardian in plain sight. When the gossip traveled, I altered its course so it reached the ears of those who would pray for you, not those who would prey on you. When the trap was set, I caused you to stumble in a different direction, a direction you called a setback, but which was actually a detour around a collapse. You mourned the closed door as a failure of destiny. It was the lock on a cage you were never meant to enter. I was not rejecting you. I was protecting you. You were protected, not rejected. The loneliness you felt when the crowd thinned was my mercy. I was clearing the stage of the extras, so that when the light finally falls, it will fall on you and you alone, and no one will be able to claim they made you. They will have to face the reality. You were forged in a hidden place by my hand alone. So release the need to make them understand. Unclench your heart from the justice they owe you. The ledger is not with them, it is with me, and I have accounted for every single thing. The tear you shed when you realized they were talking about you, it is a credit. The night you spent praying for them instead of cursing them, it is a mighty deposit. The dignity you showed by walking away without a scene, it is a weapon I am now sharpening for your defense. They thought they were writing your story of defeat. They were merely providing the conflict for a resurrection they never saw coming. They tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. And I have been tending the soil all this time. Now, feel the first crack in the shell. Something is about to break through. Now we come to the heart of the mystery, the waiting, the divine delay. This has been the hardest part, hasn't it? The active suffering of betrayal had a fire to it, a sharpness you could feel, but the waiting was a dull, heavy ache, a gray sky that never seemed to break. It was the sound of your own footsteps echoing in a hallway that led, seemingly, nowhere. You prayed for movement, for a sign, for a door, any door, to creak open. And I answered with more silence, more stillness. You interpreted that as distance. You feared it was disapproval. Let me now pull back the curtain on that sacred, agonizing, and utterly purposeful stillness. Every single door that did not open was not a sign of my neglect, but of my fierce protection. You saw only the closed door. You saw the opportunity, the relationship, the position, the recognition that seemed perfect for you, just on the other side of that wood and metal. You pressed against it, knocked until your knuckles were raw, called out, and heard only your own echo. What you could not see was what I saw, the landscape on the other side. I saw the slow poison in that opportunity that would have compromised your core. I saw the hidden cost of that relationship, the piece of your soul it would have required as collateral. I saw the ceiling in that position, the limit it would have placed on the very wings I was stretching. Your vision was limited to the immediate relief, the tangible proof of progress. My vision encompassed the entire journey. I was not keeping you from something. I was keeping you for something. The no was a spatial mercy. I was creating room for a yes so profound it would rewrite your understanding of blessing. And the people who left, the ones who walked away when the season got long, when your process became inconvenient to their narrative, when your waiting reflected a God they didn't have the patience for, you counted those losses as personal failures. If only I were more, less, different, they would have stayed. You are wrong. Their departure was not a referendum on your worth. It was a necessary evacuation. I was removing the human crutches so you would learn to walk with the strength of my spirit alone. I was stripping away the voices of easy approval so you could learn to discern the only voice that matters, mine. Their presence was a warmth, a comfort, but it was also a filter, distorting the pure frequency of my calling to you. In the echoing silence they left behind, you began to hear me with a clarity that was terrifying in its intimacy. You were not isolated. You were insulated, wrapped in a holy quiet, where the only sound was the beating of your own heart and my whisper, teaching it a new rhythm. Think of the strength you have now that you did not have before. It is not the brash strength of certainty, but the quiet, unshakable strength of weathered faith. It is the strength of the deep root, not the showy branch. That strength was formed in the waiting, in the days you had to get out of bed not because you felt hopeful, but because you chose obedience. In the moments you spoke gratitude through a clenched jaw of disappointment. In the raw, honest prayers where you shouted your confusion and still ended with, "Yet I trust you." That is not weakness. That is the highest form of spiritual strength. It is strength forged in the furnace of ambiguity, tempered in the waters of tears. I was building in you a resilience that no sudden blessing could ever give you, and no future storm can ever take away. The world calls inactivity wasted time. I call it incubation. A seed does nothing in the dark soil. It simply is. It submits to the pressure, absorbs the nutrients, and allows the slow, invisible work of transformation to happen. To dig it up every day to check for growth would destroy it. Your season of waiting was your incubation. The pressure you felt, the financial pressure, the biological clock, the societal expectations, was not meant to crush you. It was the very force needed to crack the shell of your old self, to push the tender shoot of your true destiny toward the surface. You felt buried. You were actually planted. And everything you needed for the next season was being drawn from that dark, hidden place. You see, I was doing a work in you so deep, so fundamental, that it could not be risked to the public eye. If I had elevated you when you first asked, you would have been grafted onto the old, broken systems. You would have used their methods, sought their validation, played by their rules. You would have built a kingdom that looked like theirs, just with your name on it. But that was never the point. I am not renovating the old house. I am building a new city. And I needed you to be free of the old blueprint. The waiting season was the demolition of that blueprint in your soul. It was the unlearning. It was the shedding of a skin that was too small. The delay was divine architecture. I was drawing the plans, pouring the foundation, securing the structure, all while you saw only an empty lot and felt the embarrassment of the delay. So release the shame of the waiting. Let go of the narrative that says you were passed over, forgotten, or benched. You were in the most crucial phase of all, the preparation of the vessel. The glory I am about to pour out requires a container that has been both strengthened and made supple. one that has been emptied of self-sufficiency and filled with a desperate, quiet trust in me alone. The waiting was the making of that vessel. It is now ready. The kiln door is opening. The light is about to hit what I have been forming in secret. And what comes out will bear no fingerprints but mine. Can you feel it? The subtle tremor beneath your feet? It is not an earthquake of chaos, but the quiet, massive shifting of tectonic plates in the realm of my spirit. The gears of heaven, which have seemed for so long to be still, are now engaging with a profound and irrevocable click. The season of hidden work is over. The season of visible manifestation has begun. This is the announcement you have waited for in the weary watches of the night. This is the shift. The narrative they wrote for you, the story of delay as defeat, of silence as surrender, of kindness as weakness, is about to be inverted. Not subtly, not quietly, but suddenly. So suddenly it will leave the witnesses breathless. The very situations that seemed cemented in your disadvantage, the doors that were welded shut, the reputations that were quietly tarnished in hidden rooms. Watch now. I am not merely opening a door. I am removing the wall. I am not just clearing your name. I am engraving it on a platform they cannot ignore. The reversal is coming not as a gentle correction, but as a divine proclamation. It will be public. It will be undeniable. It will carry with it the confounding logic of my favor, which makes no sense to the systems of this world. Remember the opportunity that was given to another? The one you were overlooked for? I allowed that, because the one I have for you is not a slightly better version of that. It is of a different kind entirely. It is not a step on their ladder. It is a different ladder, resting against a different wall, leading to a horizon they do not have the eyes to see. The person who took what you thought was yours will soon look to your place, not with pity, but with bewildered awe. They will not understand how you got there. They will say, "It must be favor," and they will be right. But they will say it with confusion, not with comprehension. For I am bypassing the normal channels. I am using the very stones they rejected to build your monument. Your time of being overlooked was my time of positioning you in the blind spot of the enemy, where I could prepare a blessing with no strings attached, no human mediator to claim the credit. Get ready for the sudden summons, the unexpected call, the out-of-nowhere invitation. It will come from a direction you had stopped scanning, from a connection you had forgotten, from a favor you did not track. It will feel like a download from heaven itself, bypassing all the middlemen who said you needed their permission, their endorsement, their seal. When it comes, you will feel a rush of recognition in your spirit, not surprise, but a deep, resonant yes. This is because I have been whispering the blueprint of this moment to you in your dreams, in those fleeting moments of inexplicable peace, in the quiet knowing that would rise up against all evidence. You have carried the seed of this shift inside you, even as you doubted. Now, it is breaking ground. The public vindication will be sweet, not for the sake of schadenfreude, but for the sake of truth's restoration. Those who whispered will have to speak your name in respect. Those who dismissed you will have to seek your counsel. Those who left you for dead will see you crowned with life. And in that moment, you will not feel the hot rush of vengeance you once imagined. You will feel a profound, settling peace, a divine pity. You will look at them and see not enemies, but pawns in a story they never understood. Your response will be grace, not gloating, because the victory will feel so complete, so inherently mine, that the small human dramas around it will seem like shadows scattering before a rising sun. Your vindication will be my character revealed through your life. This shift is not just about circumstance. It is about perception. The lens through which the world sees you is about to be shattered and replaced. The label of the one who waited will become the one who was prepared. The title of the sensitive one will become the discerning one. The identity of the forgotten will transform into the chosen. I am rebranding you in real time in the public square. The years of tears become a narrative of watering. The seasons of lack become a testimony of hidden provision. The loneliness becomes the story of divine tutoring. Every scar becomes a credential. The very things they used to condemn you will be the points of light in your testimony that confound the wise and strengthen the weak. Do not be alarmed by the speed. You have been prepared for this pace in the slow, faithful days. Your spiritual muscles, built in the endurance of the marathon, are more than ready for the sudden sprint of blessing. The foundation I laid in secret is engineered to handle the weight of glory I am about to display. The shift is here. The wait is over. The narrative is changing. Take a deep breath. The story they tried to write ends here. My story for you begins now. Step out of the shadow of their expectations. The light is now on you, and it is my light. And it announces one thing: everything changes now. Now we step into the new landscape. The trembling shift has settled into a firm, unshakable ground beneath your feet. The public vindication was not the final destination, it was the doorway. Now you cross the threshold into restoration. This is not a return to what was before. That would be a tragedy. That old place was too small, its air too thin for the lungs I have given you now. This is a restoration to a place you have never been, yet one your spirit has always recognized as home. This is the peace that passes understanding, not as a fleeting feeling, but as the very atmosphere of your new life. Watch as I restore what was lost. But understand my method. I do not replace the broken pottery shard for shard. I bring forth from my treasury new vessels of gold, fashioned in the hidden fire. The relationships that will now flow into your life will carry a different weight. They will be mutual, honoring, and free from the silent calculus of what can be gained. They will see the light in you and be drawn to warm themselves by it, not to steal it for their own lanterns. The provision that comes will not have the anxiety of man's strings attached. It will arrive as manna, timely, sufficient, and a daily testament to my faithfulness. It will feel like breathing after being underwater for too long. This is the abundance of soul before it is the abundance of hand. Your reputation is now being rewoven, not by the thin, brittle threads of human opinion, but by the golden cord of my truth. The narrative is yours to steward now. You will speak, and your words will carry the quiet authority of one who has been proven in secret. You will not have to shout to be heard. Your silence will hold more weight than the loud proclamations of the insecure. The very sensitivity they mocked will become your greatest strategic gift. The ability to feel the atmosphere of a room, to discern the heart behind the words, to move with a compassion that disarms and heals. What they called too much will become the exact measure needed to mend the fractures in others. This overflow is crucial. The blessings I pour into you are not meant for a private reservoir. They are a river flowing through you. The peace you now carry will become a sanctuary for the weary. The wisdom etched into you by the long nights will become a light for those just entering their own tunnel. The justice you received will become a blueprint for hope in the hearts of others still waiting. Your story is no longer your own. It is a living epistle, a testament to my faithfulness, to be read by those who have also been told their winter is permanent. You will restore families not by your perfect words, but by the testament of your restored heart. You will heal communities simply by walking through them in the wholeness I have given you. The overflow is the proof that this was never just about you. It was about the generations connected to your obedience. Your new identity is settling upon you now. Feel it like a mantle, weighty with purpose, yet light with grace. You are no longer the one who survived. You are the one who was prepared. The authority you carry is not the loud, brass authority of office, but the deep oak authority of character. It is an authority that comes from having your yes be yes and your no be no, from having your word survive the fire of testing. People will listen not because of a title before your name, but because of the truth behind your eyes. This confidence is unshakable because it is not confidence in yourself. It is a settled, absolute confidence in my goodness toward you. You know now, in the marrow of your bones, that I am for you. No accusation, no setback, no whisper of the past can penetrate that knowing. The doors that now open will lead to rooms of creative partnership with me. You will create, build, and shepherd, not from a place of striving to prove your worth, but from the restful joy of co-laboring with your Father. Ideas will come like spring buds, natural, abundant, and full of life. Solutions to problems that have plagued others will emerge from your spirit with a clarity that will surprise even you. This is the fruit of the dormant season. The sap that was gathering unseen is now rising, and it is bursting into bloom. So walk gently into this new space. Do not rush to fill it with the old noise. Let it breathe. Let it be holy. This peace, this abundance, this new identity, it is your armor and your aroma. It protects you from the old cycles, and it draws to you the new things I have ordained. The battle for your destiny is not over. It has simply changed terrain. You are no longer fighting for a promise. You are now fighting from the place of its fulfillment. And from this place of restored peace, you are utterly undefeatable. The restoration is not a conclusion, it is a launch. This is the final seal upon the promise, the last word whispered in the quiet before the dawn breaks fully. We have traveled from the depths of hidden tears to the heights of public vindication, from the ache of waiting to the solid ground of restoration. Now I bring you here, to this moment of holy stillness for the ultimate confirmation. This is not a farewell. It is an inauguration. The cycle of explanation is complete. What remains is simply trust, deep as a bedrock, wide as the sky. Look into the certainty I am placing before you. Your season of questioning is over. Your season of knowing has begun. I have walked you through the archaeology of your own pain, showing you the layers, revealing how each stratum of suffering was not a random deposit of chaos, but a purposeful stratum in the formation of a mountain. You stand on its peak now. The winds that once threatened to blow you over are now the very winds that lift your gaze to horizons you never dreamed possible. The view from here is forever. You see your past with my eyes now, not as a series of tragic accidents, but as a sacred, meticulously plotted pilgrimage to this point of convergence. Every twist, every dead end, every valley of shadow was on the map I drew for you before time began. You have arrived. Not at a finish line, but at a starting line of a different order. So, what now? You move forward with a heart that is both fierce and quiet. You carry within you a paradox, the unshakable peace of the healed and the unquenchable fire of the commissioned. You will walk into your days with a new rhythm, no longer the frantic beat of striving to prove or to catch up, but the steady, powerful rhythm of a heart synchronized to the pace of my spirit. You will make decisions from this place of settled assurance, not from the old place of fearful scarcity. The opinions of others will fall away like leaves from a great oak. You will hear them, but they will no longer cling to you or shape you. Your shape is now irrevocably mine. I need you to understand this. The work I did in the hidden place is permanent. The breaking was a one-time forging. You will face new challenges, yes, The enemy will try old tactics, but they will land on soil that has been salted with grace and fortified with truth. They will not find purchase. You will feel the familiar sting, but you will not feel the old despair. You will recognize the lie before it finishes its sentence, and you will speak my truth over it, not with desperation, but with the calm authority of a homeowner stating the boundaries of their own property. This is your land now. This peace, this identity, this calling, it is the territory I have given you to steward. No one can take it. You cannot lose it. It is woven into the fabric of your being. From this day forward, your life becomes a living testament. Your very presence will be a sermon of resilience. Your joy will be a quiet rebuke to the kingdom of darkness that swore you would never smile again. Your generosity will be a shockwave in an economy of greed. Your love will be a sanctuary, a proof of my reality. You are my walking, breathing, loving answer to the question the world is too afraid to ask out loud. Is God truly good to those who wait? You are my yes. So go. Go with the memory of my whispers in your darkest nights etched upon your soul. Go with the fire of my promise burning in your bones. Go with the certainty that I am before you, behind you, beside you, within you. The assignment is clear. Live loved. Lead from that love. Create from that love. Forgive from that love. The machinery of heaven moves with you, for you. You are not stepping into this new day alone. You are stepping into it carried by the momentum of my divine conspiracy on your behalf. This is the end of the old story of they tried to break you. And this is the eternal beginning of the true story. I built you, and what I have built cannot be broken. What I have sealed cannot be undone. What I have promised, I have already performed. Now look ahead. The path is lit. The chain is gone. The door is open. The future is not a fearful question mark. It is a radiant certainty, humming with my purpose. Take the first step. I am here. I have always been here, and I always will be. This is your confirmation. The final word is trust, and the story is just beginning.